This is the story of how a crazy idea, a waffle iron, and relentless grit transformed a tiny startup into one of the most powerful brands on earth. In 1964, a former college runner named Phil Knight had just $500 and a wild theory about importing Japanese running shoes to America. Knight started selling shoes out of his car trunk at track meets, partnering with his old coach Bill Bowerman, who was obsessed with making runners faster. One morning, Bowerman looked at his wife's waffle iron and had a breakthrough. He poured rubber into it, creating a revolutionary sole pattern that would change everything. They called their company Nike after the Greek goddess of victory and hired a design student to create their logo for $35. That simple swoosh became one of the most recognizable symbols on the planet. From those humble beginnings, selling shoes from a trunk, Nike grew into a $50 billion global empire that doesn't just make products, it creates culture. Sometimes the biggest revolutions start in the smallest places. Phil Knight, a former college runner and business student, had a bold idea. At Stanford, he wrote about importing high-quality, low-cost running shoes from Japan to compete with German brands. He flew to Japan, toured factories, and met Onitsuka Tiger, striking a small distribution deal. Back home, he sold shoes from his car at track meets, bootstrapping with roughly $500. 1964. Blue Ribbon Sports is born. Inventory in the trunk. No guarantees, just belief. Knight partnered with coach Bill Bowerman, whose ingenuity would define the company's DNA. Athletes like Steve Prefontaine gave the fledgling brand authenticity and edge. Every sale mattered. Every mile on the track was research. The seed of athlete-informed design was planted from day one. 1964. Blue Ribbon Sports is born. Inventory in the trunk. No guarantees, just belief. The dream had left the page and hit the track. Bill Bowerman, Knight's former coach at Oregon, lived to make runners faster. At breakfast, a simple waffle iron caught his eye. He imagined a sole that gripped better yet stayed light. So he poured rubber into the iron, experimenting. Those experiments inspired the Nike Waffle Trainer, a radical pattern that gripped cinder and track alike. Performance gains you could measure with a stopwatch. Innovation can start anywhere, even at the breakfast table. Innovation can start anywhere, even at the breakfast table. Bowerman turned curiosity into traction, literally. And when athletes feel faster, word spreads. A kitchen spark became a competitive edge. When the Onitsuka relationship ended, Knight and his partners had to build their own brand. They chose Nike, after the Greek goddess of victory. A young design student, Carolyn Davidson, began sketching. One simple curve stood out from the rest. She was paid around $35 for the logo that would travel the world. 1971. The swoosh is born. A simple line, a global icon. From a desk sketch to a symbol recognized on every continent. The mark of movement, speed, and belief. A simple line, a global icon. A new chapter had begun. Nike started with runners, building shoes athletes love to race in. Performance first, comfort, grip, and speed. When an athlete wins in your product, your brand wins too. Nike realized athletes aren't just customers, they're storytellers. Their victories, comebacks, and grit carried the brand's voice. Products evolved through data, testing, and relentless iteration. Legends amplified the message and the mission. Performance first. Athletes gave Nike a voice. Trust is earned, not claimed. Every story starts before the starting gun. Athletes are the brand's heartbeat. In the late 1980s, a simple, powerful slogan launched. Just do it. It wasn't just about sport. It was about life, about pushing through fear, doubt, and obstacles. 3 words that invited everyone to move. Just do it. 3 words that changed advertising forever. Iconic images and athletes turned ads into movements. It was permission to begin, even when it's hard. A mirror held up to our better selves. From pros to first-timers, the message was the same. Just start, just move, just do it. Nike expanded beyond running into basketball, football, soccer, tennis, and more. It became a cultural symbol worn on stages, streets, and playgrounds. Innovation from the lab translated to everyday movement. Partnerships with legendary athletes elevated the global stage. Sneakers became status symbols and pieces of art, from track fields to city streets. More than a brand, a culture. Culture moves when people move. Big things can start small sometimes with just $500 in belief. Innovation can come from anywhere, even a waffle iron in a kitchen. Storytelling matters. Athletes, slogans, and emotions build a brand. Consistency and resilience turn a startup into a powerhouse. It's about people with ideas, fears, doubts, and the courage to keep going. Start small, think differently, tell a powerful story. Never stop improving. Nike's story began with a question. Why not make something better? The rest is history. Now the question is, what's your just do it moment? Nike, from $500 to billions. Every journey starts with a single step.